So I'm here with Dale Vince, the founder of Ecotricity, and we're here really to talk about fracking. I think a lot of people don't quite understand what it is. They know it involves drilling and stuff.
I'm not an expert on the process, but it does involve drilling and pumping liquids underground and basically destroying the rocks in order to release some gas from it, and it comes with enormous environmental risks to polluting water and land and that kind of stuff. To create some fossil fuel gas that we surely can't afford to burn if we're going to fight climate change successfully. And also the fracking sites themselves really have a very short life, maybe 5 to 7 years. So it's a very short-term fix to a very long-term problem, which is how we're going to heat our homes and avoid climate change. Proponents of fracking do argue that it's got a lower carbon content than other forms of gas, but it's actually not true.
No, I mean, it might have slightly lower than coal, but then we really shouldn't be using coal at all. So, I mean, that argument doesn't stand up for much. It seems to be increasingly unpopular with the general public. I mean, it isn't, I don't see people going around going, fracking is good, let's frack some more.
I think you're right. I think David Cameron and George Osborne used to. Of course, they're not in their jobs anymore. Last week, the most recent survey by the government of public attitude showed that opposition to fracking has reached an all-time high. It's in the 70%. Right. So it's the most unpopular form of energy production probably known, more unpopular than nuclear even. So it's a bit of a mystery to me and other people as to why the government is so hell-bent on forcing fracking on the country.
Yes.
Given all of this.
Yes, there's obviously an enormous amount of money behind the companies that want to do the fracking, because there's very, very good short-term, short blinkered returns on that investment. But so how are you trying to counter that movement?
With our green gas mills, in fact, this idea that we've launched just recently, that there's a new way to make gas in town, and that's to use grass grown on marginal farmland. There's enough in Britain to make enough gas to power all of our homes, create an industry in the process, something like £7.5 billion economic boost, 150,000 jobs, that kind of stuff. But more importantly, we can make gas forever this way. As long as the grass grows, we can make gas. It's carbon neutral, more or less, so we can fight climate change that way as well. We've unveiled the concept, the process, and the national plan, and that's what we're really pushing. And also, we want to stimulate a debate, really, give the anti-fracking groups around the UK a real alternative to want, rather than just be against fracking, which is justifiable, but actually to have an alternative to say, actually, this is the way we'd rather have it happen in our area. So we're just starting that process now.
And is it the case that if you had one of your green gas mills on a site that the local community refused to let the frackers do, or somehow they managed to stop it, and you could put a green gas mill, could it in effect produce the same amount of energy?
Yeah, definitely the same amount of energy without the environment risk, and for much longer, and pretty much on a carbon neutral basis.
I hate the cliched term no-brainer, but it's fairly obvious to a lot of communities, I think, when they can see that there's they might, because it's the thing where I suddenly want to encourage NIMBYism. When it comes to fracking, I want to go, you don't want this near your house, it's going to lower your property value. But if they can then say, well, look, we could do this and we could use the local waste. There's a lot of grass grows in this country. If there's nothing else, we grow a lot of grass.
Yeah, and it's important, isn't it, to have a practical alternative. It's all very well being against things as an environmentalist. That's a situation I'm used to, but it's important to have an answer. For electricity, we've got wind and solar, we've got emerging tidal and wave. We can make all of the electricity our country needs from renewable energy. Making gas from grass is a new frontier, and this is something that local communities can lobby for, campaign for. At the moment, though, they're shut out of the planning process. They don't get a say. The county councils make the decision, but even when they turn down a fracking site, government steps in and just approves it. Our green gas mills enter the planning system at a lower level, at the district level, and give people a say. And so what we're hoping to do, we're actually going to follow the fracking industry. Wherever they put in an application for a fracking mill, we're going to put one in for a green gas mill to try and stimulate this debate and to say to local people, look, there is a choice, there's a different way to do it. Your voice isn't currently being heard, but let's have this conversation about how we want to make our gas in the future. What a lot of people don't know is they're actually supporting the industry with their energy bills.
Yeah.
4 of the big 6 energy companies in this country are involved in fracking financially. There'll be a lot of people in our country that are against fracking, but paying for it by the back door.
Yes. So how can the general public get involved in effect, helping Ecotricity fight fracking? Because that's, I think, probably a good way of approaching it.
The biggest, easiest thing to do actually is to, in a way, kind of campaign from your couch. Switch energy provider. Join us, that would be great. We can use people's gas bills to drive our green gas mill program and use that to cut fracking off at the pass, in effect, because ours is such a better alternative. We just need a bit of momentum, show that it works, and we can defeat fracking that way. I like to think of it also as a bit like the boycott of South Africa. When people stopped buying things from South Africa, that had an impact on the country and on apartheid and stuff like that. We need to boycott fracking.
Right.
People need to boycott it with their energy bills.